I rise today to oppose House Bill 5291 in its current form. A lot of the amendments that we have offered today, as well as amendments that we have offered in the committee, would have made this budget a better budget, a budget that would have had a significant number of more votes than it will today. We had that opportunity last year, and I hope we'll have that opportunity again. But there are some glaring problems and concerns with this budget. First, as you've heard my colleague from Macomb County talk about, you have blatantly broken the Constitution by putting money into this to fund private schools. Private schools are wonderful. They're a wonderful asset in our communities, but we have debated over decades what their role is. And the voters have spoken time and time again, including at the Constitutional Convention, that we would not be taking public dollars and putting them into private schools. And so what you're doing today is starting a very slippery slope. When you do this first time, that you will then continue to do this at higher and higher levels. And what does that mean? That means you're going to be taking money away from your local public schools to fund this. Again, read the Constitution. It is very clear on that fact. The second issue is around how we invest in higher education. Business leaders of Michigan, year in, year out, have told us we need to be investing $100 million more every year into higher education if we want to be able to be competitive with other states. The governor at least tried to put some new revenue in there. And what does the House do? It automatically cuts $10 million. The governor's plan was flawed because it didn't even take all institutions back to the 2011 number. Remember, for those of you that are in your final year here, one of the first things you did in a budget was cut higher education by 15%. You put our 15 public universities and the students that go there behind the eight ball. You had the opportunity today to be able to take all of those 5 institutions and bring them back. And as my colleague from Ann Arbor told us, 5 of those institutions are not back at the 2011 levels, and 3 of them are our research institutions. University of Michigan, Michigan State University, and Wayne State University. Again, the 3 largest institutions, the 3 that are doing the most economic development, you have not even brought them back to the 2011 levels. That is a glaring omission on the part of this legislature. The third piece of that concern for me is specifically around how we take a look at cyber schools. Last year, I told you the number of states that do not fund cyber schools at 100%. There are states across this country that understand that cyber schools are different than your traditional charter school or your traditional public school. They are different and they don't need the same level of resources. Why is it that other states understand that, but the state of Michigan doesn't? Is it because the for-profit entities that run these institutions are involved and invested in these types of campaigns throughout the state? I hope not, because what I would expect from us is to be able to treat all institutions fairly. And when you give more money to a for-profit charter school that doesn't have the same needs as the school down the street from you, that has the ability to do things to change our economy, to change the lives of children, when you don't actually give that opportunity to treat everybody fairly, you're taking advantage and taking money out of our public schools and giving them to a for-profit entity. And the final thing that I'm most concerned with and most perplexed when it came out of the subcommittee is that we made some significant policy decisions. And I hope that everybody in this room understands when you vote for this today, that you are also voting to eliminate the merit exams. You're also voting to eliminate the SAT test that we actually fund students to take so they can be prepared to go to college. That is what you're going to be supporting today. This did not have large debate in our education committee, our policy committee. There have been conversations about the M-STEP. I think that's a legitimate conversation to have. But to get rid of the M-STEP at the same time of getting rid of the merit exam and the SAT is wrong. Talk to any superintendent in your school. Talk to any principal at the high school. The merit exams that have been going on since 2007 are actually things that people believe in and that people actually want. They also want their students, their children, to be prepared to go to college. So today you're asking us to remove the funding for SATs for people to go to college. You're asking us to remove something that teachers and principals are asking for. I think this was a mistake. I understand that the chairman of the subcommittee wants to make a point, but why are we doing that? Why do we have to again expect the Senate to go back and fix something to us? Why don't we just fix it here? We offered you that amendment to do that. But again, we're going to have to now wait for the Senate to be the more responsible part of this process and fix a number of these things that you had the opportunity to fix today. So, Mr. Speaker, I was hoping that we would have come to some resolution where we could all be voting on this together. Because we haven't, I have to only hope that the Senate will do the right thing and fix a number of the problems that are within this budget. And that's why I'm asking a number of you, Republicans and Democrats, to stand with me, vote against this budget. You'll have an opportunity to vote for it when it comes back from the Senate in a better form. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Mr. Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 5291, there are 72 aye votes and 36 nay votes.
A majority of members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed.